Good evening. Welcome to the June 21st Mount Vernon City School District School Board meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Sure if I had the right date. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Roll call.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee Saunders?
Here.
Trustee White?
Present.
Trustee Patterson?
Present.
Trustee Mitchell?
Present.
Trustee Redd? Trustee Sorensen?
Present.
Quorum is present.
Communications from the public.
The Mount Vernon Board of Education recognizes the critical importance of community discourse and involvement in the education of Mount Vernon's children, and accordingly, members of the public are invited to speak at each regularly scheduled board meeting, subject to the terms of board policy. A speaker must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting, by contacting the district clerk in person here at the Education Center, by phone at 914-665-5235, or by email at temmanuel@mtvernoncsd.org. The board welcomes all respectful comment, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing a specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, or other Mount Vernon education official or employee is strictly prohibited. Any such complaint must be presented and addressed through the proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to speak. Up to 1 additional minute may be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or other staff members at the direction of the superintendent may immediately respond to a speaker's remarks. Our first public speaker tonight is Jerry Ann Grant. Janine Fertel.
Hi, my name is Janine Fertil. I'm a parent of 3 students in the Mount Vernon City School District, and as a concern...
Can you try to speak more into the mic, please?
I'm sorry?
Speak into the mic.
Okay. I didn't see it wiped down. Hi, my name is Janine Fertil, and I'm here to speak as a concerned parent in the school district. I have 3 children that attend the Mount Vernon City School District, and I'm really concerned as regards to trustees. As a concerned parent, I'm here to express my thoughts on fellow parents and not being on the school board. I know I'm not supposed to mention names. However, we had many parents that were actively on the school board advocating for our kids. And we know decisions that were made, those parents would also have to feel the impact. And as I watch the board meetings, as I listen to what's going on in our neighborhood, it really concerns me that it seems as if the school board isn't a safe place for parents, as if parents are being pushed on, they no longer feel welcome there. And with, unfortunately, of the 2 trustees leaving, I really believe, because Mount Vernon is a district, unfortunately, people don't come out to vote. So the few that did come out to vote, I feel like their voices should be heard, to help encourage others. Also, as I'm the PTA president of the STEAM Academy, and I'm very concerned about the crossing guard situation. I've spoken to Dr. BC at our meetings, and she's also let me know that she's working on it, and she's going to ensure that we do have a crossing guard, but I feel like it's something that needs to be repeated and said. This morning, my personal experience, I dropped my son off for Regents. There's not that many kids, not that many cars going. And I'm like, look, buddy, I have a meeting to go to. I need you to cross the street. A couple of seconds later, he's tapping on the car like, Mom, I can't do this. I can't even see what's going on. I have to get back, and he gets back in the car, and I have to drive him around and drop him off in front of the school building. Unfortunately, not many kids have the luxury of having their parents drop them off at school. We shouldn't have our kids as sitting ducks waiting for something to happen. You know, I hear everyone saying we want to be proactive, we want to be proactive. Please advocate for our kids to get a crossing guard. Even as parents, getting out my car, I'm like, not knowing who's going to come. You know, I've seen speeding police cars. I've seen it's like Gramerton Avenue is like a throughway. Maybe they're not used to our kids being in school, but these cars are zooming past. We really need a crossing guard. Also, I was very concerned when I watched the board meeting the other day, and I seen the resolution for the trees being put on the calendar to get passed. I went to a 2018 tenureship meeting, and I heard a parent, we were at Parker School, and I heard a parent crying out for bus passes. Their kids have to walk from the south side all the way to Mount Vernon High School. Honestly, I thought the kids enjoyed walking. But the parent, she complained, and she said how they would have to get them, pool their monies together to put these kids in a cab to get them to school on snow days. Please, if resolutions can be passed for trees, please pass a resolution for our kids in these bus passes. New Rochelle, they have a program where they give discounted bus passes to their kids. Yonkers, the kids who receive free lunch, they get free bus passes. Let's do the same for our kids. You know, we are advocating for our kids. Let's do the same. And I know my time is up, but I do also want to thank Dr. BC because I expressed my concern about the books that were given last school year to my 8th grade son. And the books that were given this year, my kids were so excited. They were like, Mom, we got mystery books, we got adventure books, we got all kind of books. And they already started reading their books where I didn't even have a chance to see which book goes with which kid. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mark Stuckey. Katie Wilson.
Good evening, all. It's been a moment since I've been here. So first, let's start with business. The black clergy came in here and spoke. They spoke directly about a child. I have never been embarrassed for people who call themselves grown men. Let's start with black clergy. It was started in Queens by Fred Simmons, who worked for Senator Malcolm Smith. It was not meant to be a gang that meets, that tells people who they should vote for. I take great personal injury to what they're doing. I'm the great-granddaughter of Arnold Whitfield. In 1863, my great-grandfather fought in the Civil War so other blacks would be free and able to vote. Where does a slave master mentality come into a pulpit? They came in here and they talked about a child who had been mistreated by our community and also personally, physically attacked. Thank the Lord it wasn't mine. At the end of the day, ministers speaking are feeding off of the school board. So they need to be quiet. They have no presence of academic excellence that they are projecting on our community. They need to respect those who are. Grown men who come in to talk about a child, they have questions about what was going on. I can be seen at any time. I'm not a Twitter thumb person. They can see me in person. Beyond that, I would look to the school board to be responsible, to be open-minded, to do things that will push us in a positive direction. We had a vote before. We had people who had not enough votes, but the most votes, they need to be put into position on the school board. I also have to say to Melissa and Cynthia Turnquest, we will miss your brilliance, your capacity to fight. We also appreciate what you did while you were here. This isn't anything anybody's paid for, and you're constantly under attack. So personally, I want to say thank you. And I'm sad to see both of you go. We don't find women with their brilliance and ability that often who are willing to stand up and fight. On the last note that's more positive, I want to say thank you to all of you. My son has learned, he has grown, he has continued to mature as he served this year as a board member. And I hope you guys go to guidance counselors or wherever to pick kids who really have the propensity to do this, be involved, and help it push them forward. Dr. BC, heavy is the head that wears the crown. The last time the crown was right, her name was Brenda Smith. So I may be a pain in the behind at times, but I expect great things from you because I know you're capable. For once, we brought someone from within who understands the culture and other things that are happening here. So I expect to see really good changes. I expect there also to be the transparency that did not exist before between the superintendent and the school board members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tech? I'm sorry, is the meeting on Facebook? Because a lot of people are saying they're not seeing that.
It's live.
Okay, thank you.
And I can just do the stopwatch.
Any more speakers?
Oh. Our next speaker is Cynthia Turnquest.
Good evening. Cynthia Turnquest Jones, 444 Seneca Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York. The Mount Vernon City School District. What inspired me to become a school board trustee is the passion I have as an educator, parent, citizen of Mount Vernon, and activist. The conception was that I would be a part of shaping lifelong learners in the educational sector as we aim to increase student achievement, parent involvement, and fellow educators' passions. Being involved in academic conversations for the parents and educators was satisfying. Aligning the budget to meet the needs of the district and monitoring the expedition was a learning experience. There is an organic relationship that forms when supporting our young learners and working side by side with both the educators and parents. The bottom line is that we are on the road to raising lifelong learners, which I love. Nonetheless, sometimes it is best to walk away when the journey becomes clear that the mission is not to increase the student's achievement, parent involvement, and fellow educators' passion. There is a motive and an axe to grind culture which makes the children of Mount Vernon sacrificial lambs. The abuse of creating this false narrative has plagued our city. The desire is for no one to see in between the lines, creating a constant syndrome of chaos and hoodwinking the people of Mount Vernon, painting a picture that the board is not doing their task, that the educators are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that the children don't know how to read, sharing of personal information, along with wildfire gossip, hearsay, tattletaling, mesh with the word on the street. Giving individuals heads up about specific trustees before being on the board, or for that trustee or trustees to be victims without a chance. A syndrome that has worked very well. Like many disorders, chaos syndromes is self-reinforcing. It causes dysfunction, which fuels public anger, which incites disruption, which causes yet more dysfunction. The cycle of trauma is amazing to observe. I was elected to serve, not to be bashed, not to bash, not to be abused, not to abuse or my heart set on fire. We cannot continue this definition of insanity where the bashing of characters of individuals is used for the benefits of one's tallies and continued mayhem to distract the good people of money-earning Mount Vernon. I am very enthusiastic about the experience that I had as a board member, and I will now use that experience to empower young learners. I will continue as an activist in Mount Vernon. Community service should not be and should not ignite post-traumatic stress disorder. Community service should not be a constant current stress disorder. Community service should not end up with assassinations like Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To the young learners, to the educators, to the leaders of Mount Vernon City School District, I bid you enough respect where respect is due. You got my back, and I got your front. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tom Keller.
Thomas Keller, 12 Pasadena Place. I regret the fact that Melissa has decided not to serve her one-year term next year. I don't want to speak for Ken Silver or Rick Powers, but she was a very important member of the Budget Committee, chaired the Budget Committee. We're going to miss her. I don't know anybody else on the board that can fill her shoes. And I would hope that she would become a member as a public member next year. You've got a couple of months to think about it. I mentioned last time, every trustee should read the audited statement that becomes available in October and November. There's such important financial information in it. It should be a requirement. Okay. I have my computer tuned up by Staples over the weekend. I haven't had a chance to plug it in, put all the wires in, printers, all that stuff. So I haven't seen the agenda, but someone told me there were a couple of promotions and so forth. I think we should table all the promotions until after July 1st when the new board takes over. 10 days, 12 days, 2 weeks, is it going to really matter? Except maybe for the treasurer. I don't know if the treasurer has been approved in the interim, but it was tabled a few weeks ago. Okay. I reluctantly voted for the budget this time because Mr. Silver told me that no computer purchases, no furniture purchases, no taking away the contaminated oil tanks because we're all natural gas now. So, but there will be a tax increase because the STAR program is down by 210. So it's 210 less that you can take off your assessment. It's capped at 2% up or down, so there'll be a 2% increase if I'm doing my numbers correctly. Also, we don't have an assessment number from Stephanie Vanderpool, the assessor. And if assessments are down by $1 million like they were for the city budget, add another 0.7, 2.7. Now, this district operates with too much old infrastructure and overhead. I'm borrowing this comment from Rick Powers, who's done a lot of work on this, comparing us to the other big three districts, Yonkers, White Plains, and New Rochelle. So it might mean closing Williams School, maybe, Parker. Benjamin Turner has got 200 students that can hold 400, 500, 600, 700. The three high schools are underpopulated. Denzel Washington, Davis, the Mount Vernon High School. An example, Budget Committee in late March were talking about possible tax levy increase. And Amy Mosley, who has followed Mr. Hamilton to Greenberg, Edgemont, she said that New Rochelle, 10,300 students, $290 million budget, comes out about $28,000. We, 266, 267, 7351, 36,000. So we got to operate more efficiently. Number 4. Back 4 or 5 years ago when Denise Kopeski was the human resource person, I had asked, how many employees do we have? And I never got a good answer. It was like, well, they're using old software and we have new software. And are you talking about full-time employees or part-time employees? Give me a number, will you? I did the arithmetic, and I checked with the other 3. So for every employee, Mount Vernon, it's not just teachers, it's everybody. We have 4 students, 4 to 1. Yonkers.
Mr. Kelly, your time is up.
Don't I have an extra minute?
You have the extra
4 minutes?
1 minute. Thank you.
Gee, I have a lot more to say. I guess I'm warming up for tomorrow night at City Hall, but just one final thing. White Plains, New Rochelle, and Yonkers all were 16, 17, or 18. So for every 1 employee, they had 6 students, 7 students, or 8 students. We're 1 to 4. We got to find out what the numbers are now. All right, to be continued.
Mr.
Thank
Keller. We have one
Ms.
more.
Grant, are you here?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am here today as a parent at Hamilton Elementary School. And the reason I'm here, I didn't realize my son takes a school bus, so I actually wasn't, and it's the first year at the school. And I didn't realize the condition that the school fence, which is the parameter that safety for the kids, especially when they're on the playground, and the condition of the playground itself. Now, I know New York State Department of Health has requirements for safety, and for lack of a better word, it's negligence. It hasn't been maintained. I have pictures here. They're peeling paint for both playgrounds, one for the kids, the lower grade, and it's really bad. So I don't know if we could pass it around. I did email some of the pictures earlier. And other than the peeling paint, what I found out is that within the month of June, 4 students has been documented that has been injured so far in the playground. There's metal sticking out. It's rust. And there's a child last week that got cut in their arm from the fencing. As you can see, the fencing it's like that chain link fence that has the metal pieces are separated, and it's hanging. It's really bad. And this is actually an accident waiting to happen, worse than what it is so far. Another parent informed me that last week too, their child clothing got ripped on the playground equipment. And there's metal sticking out, as I said. The fencing around the school, the gate cannot be closed because it's really old. And there are gaps. There's a child that ran out the street last week from one of the TAs while they were out for recess. And that TA had to chase a child down the street. I'm not sure how many are familiar with Hamilton Elementary, but the 2 streets that goes perpendicular along where the school is, that's traffic. So I can just imagine as a parent, I'm getting a phone call that my child ran out in the street, mainly because the gates cannot be closed. There's no camera system in the school. And we all know, I don't have to mention Texas, what's going on now. I was also informed that was an intruder on the playground that walked in because the gate, of course, cannot be closed. The person walked in, picked up bottles, and had to be approached by the principal to leave the premises. Now, as an educator, or I wouldn't even want to approach that person because mental health, you don't know how that person is going to respond to you. And I don't think they, as educators, I have a lot of respect for them. I don't think they should be put in that position where they're approaching people who are visiting on the school grounds that does not belong. I was told that this issue has been reported and that some security consultant was at the school within the recent couple of weeks. But what's disappointing about this, after looking further into it, this was actually been identified and was in a plan of action 4 years ago. So now that we're hearing that, why was it done? What's the budget? Why is it missing? As leaders, we got to be held accountable. There is no way there's safety concern, especially in this climate now with what's going on, that our kids are not being safe at school. They do go out to recess. They go on the playground and play. That's normal for a child. A child having access where their feet can get stuck between the fencing because the fencing is lack of maintenance over the years. This did not happen overnight. It's really bad. And if you guys don't mind, I'll pass the pictures around so you take a look at it. I have a lot more photo, but I'm pretty sure if the state is aware of this, they'll shut it down. This is ridiculous. And my question to the board is, we know school is about to close. What's going to be done about this? September, kids go back to school. There's absolutely no reason why they're playing on a playground where the foam mat is actually ripping apart. There was a kid last week too that has colored the different foam color from that mat. It's not installed properly, and you could see the wear and tear over the years, that pieces of it are missing, and the kid leg had the colors all over it. Now, I'm in healthcare, and I know from past years that foam has been linked to cancerous when the kids are exposed to the material. seeing how old it is, because I know the new ones are not like that, but seeing how old it is, I'm almost sure that's the old one that has that chemical in there. So we got to think about the future of our kids. This is crazy, and I don't understand how this hasn't been addressed all this time. And knowing what's going on now, our kids need to be safe. They need to be able to play and enjoy recess and not be worried about being cut by metals, and the fact that the fencing is in the condition is that it's really horrible. And if you don't mind...
Thank you. We have we just got the pictures today.
You got the pictures today. And okay, so as a parent, I'm the PTA president, but I'm here as a parent to say that I don't feel safe. My kid, knowing that this is the playground he's utilizing, I'm really shocked, and the peeling paint is really bad.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm going to just really quick.
Mr. Silver, can you tell us their ETA on where that's going to be repaired?
I'm sorry, Madam President. Hold on one second. Mr. Silver, I'm sorry, ma'am. Thank you for coming in out to share this with us and for sending the images that you sent. I know that we recently had a full audit of all our playgrounds, and Hamilton is one of the ones that is in the most disrepair. Mr. Silver, can you speak to briefly where we stand and what we're targeting to do as far as time frame and budget, if you can speak on that briefly?
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, and good evening. We recently did do an audit of all the playgrounds, and we have proposals for the repair of all the playgrounds, and you have seen those proposals. Today we are ordering the repair of 4 playgrounds that are very small repairs in nature. The Hamilton playground that the woman was speaking of is also getting a new floor, a whole new surface, as well as new equipment. That tab on that one playground is $122,000 to repair all the equipment. The fencing and gates we will look at tomorrow. And we do have proposals for all of them. The Hamilton playground is in the budget. The budget does not have enough for all of the repairs, and we will have to decide whether we want to replace all the surfaces or try to fix some of the surfaces. The surface of the playground is the most expensive part of it. It's in excess of $50,000 just for the floor of the playground. Far more expensive than the equipment and the installation. So we have to look at those, and I've already asked Dr. BC to review those proposals with me to see what we want to recommend to the Facilities Committee and to the board about doing this. So many of these are already in the budget. The budget passes tonight. These repairs and proposals will be acted upon shortly.
Mr. Silva, can you speak to, really quick, you said that we have bids in. Can you speak exactly to what you mean when you say that? The bids are the companies that have put in bids to do this work, and what is the guarantee that we have from these bids as far as pricing, competitive-wise?
These are competitive statewide bids, and this is the lowest responsible bidder, and we've taken that from the state bids.
And the bids, how the bids are awarded is, can you just remind us how those bids are awarded, what some of the key factors are involved as far as insurance and bonding and the dollar amount?
Well, all of that is required to even bid. They can't even submit a bid without the bonding and the insurance, and that's a requirement of all the bids everywhere, whether it's ours or another school district or another municipality or a statewide bid. So that's required of everybody. After that, it's individual needs in the playgrounds. Our playgrounds are all for younger children, and they are specific to type of equipment that we have used in the past. Somebody wanted to see bells and whistles. We can't afford bells and whistles. We're looking for safe, attractive playgrounds and in those repairs as well.
Security as well, because the fence is actually probably going to supersede some of the other things. That budget amount that we have that's hopefully going to pass this evening, it's the fence. I would say the fence is going to be utmost important just for the security of the people.
The fence would not be part of the capital project. That would be a repair under the regular repair budget, which would not be affected by any vote. We would still be able to do the repairs, and we have a fencing company that just completed the fencing at Columbus, right. You may recall.
Yes.
Some of the playgrounds, like Rebecca Turner, have a fence just around the playground. It's not a wire fence. It's a hard metal fence that is much safer than what was being described. So we will look at all of that tomorrow.
And we
Sure.
we can look at some sort of timing on that fence being repaired before the kids come back to school. Is that possible?
All of this will be repaired before the children come back.
All right. I think that's what our parent wanted to know for sure.
I have a question. And please correct me if I'm wrong, if I heard the wrong thing. You said that right now in the budget, there's not enough money to do all the repairs that the playground requires. Is that correct?
There
All the repairs for all the playgrounds, or just for
in
this
some,
playground?
there's not enough money in the budget, in the capital projects, to repair all the playgrounds. That's correct.
All the playgrounds around
But there is enough money to do something in all of the playgrounds and have that something done by the fall so that they're safe and attractive.
Okay.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
just have one question, and that is the question about carcinogens. Can we,
There was some talk about that. There has been some evidence that you see some of these football fields that are
Right.
made out of shredded tires.
Right.
And there's been some talk about carcinogens. But this material is not that type of material. This replaces the old material. I don't know what the old material is, but the new materials are safe for the children, and we do have environmental specifications that come with that.
okay, so that is under the auspices of SED, like
That's
the environmental,
correct.
okay.
That is
So
correct.
people can rest assured that we're not going with a carcinogenic flooring. Thank you.
Can I just ask one clarifying question? Does that mean that what's down on the floor now does not contain carcinogens?
I do not know that. The floors on most of those playgrounds are very old, and I don't know what that material was. I don't know what the requirements were 20, 30 years ago, whenever that was done. I just don't know.
So it's safe to say we possibly could look at shutting down Hamilton Playground until we get that settled, right?
There were several playgrounds that were recommended to be closed by the playground company. Hamilton was not one of them.
Okay.
There were 4 playgrounds that were, and we're working on all of them.
I know it was marked in poor condition. It was definitely deemed
Yes, that's
poor condition
correct.
by our auditors. But I honestly think if we have a question of carcinogens in that flooring material, it's probably going to be in our best interest, especially every last one of those materials are ripped, torn someplace.
We have all the specifications for the new materials. Anything that's ripped and it's not replaced can be sealed.
I have one more question, and it's something that concerns me because Ms. Grant mentioned that this was brought, ID'd, and a plan of action was created 4 years ago. Is what happened?
I can't speak to that. I'm not aware of that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I'm not aware of any playground initiative from 4 years ago.
Was there any?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
And you were in facilities, right? You would know.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
so
you. No,
do we
thank
have
you.
any more? We have, Dr. Hamilton. Okay, so we have Dr. Hamilton.
Over the comments from the public comments?
We're going to do Dr. Hamilton. He's been in the waiting room. So he's going to speak.
Can we do comments from the public comments?
Can we do Dr. Hamilton and get that over with?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, can you put him on? Dr. Hamilton would like to give some, there he goes.
Thank you.
Looking good.
Hey, Dr.
Hello,
Hamilton.
Dr. Hamilton.
We can't hear you.
Wait. Oh, I was telling him to wait.
He's going to speak?
No.
Oh.
What I'm Taylor?
Thank
Taylor?
you. I can see my thing on the screen.
Oh my God.
What just happened? I just like hit myself.
So is there something wrong?
We can't hear Dr. Hamilton.
Still can't hear me?
Yes.
You hear me? Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to, first of all, thank you, Adrian, Madam President, for this opportunity this evening to just address you all. And on the twilight meeting of the end of my 8th year in Mount Vernon and the welcoming of new administration, I first want to say thank you for an extraordinary, incredible experience. There were ups and downs, but I would not trade a single moment for my journey in Mount Vernon. I thank you. I hope that I leave Mount Vernon better than we found it 8 years ago. I salute you, Dr. BC, and as I pass the keys to the kingdom, I hope and pray that you will enjoy the journey as much as I did. And most importantly, that the work and efforts that we worked on together, that they will survive the change and continue to benefit our students and our community. To trustees, thank you for your support, your understanding. And I know there will be new trustees coming in and they will inherit some things that they will love and some things that they won't. But all of it was done with love and with the best interests of children at heart and tethered to sound educational research. So thank you for everything. I remain available in any way, in any capacity necessary that will ensure a smooth transition and ensure that students get the best that they can possibly get and that community members are able to benefit from the work, the effort, and most importantly, the vision. So I will continue to keep Mount Vernon in my thoughts and prayers daily. Even now, during this period of time when I've been out, I have prayed for Mount Vernon every single day and will continue to do so. So God bless you all. I wish you nothing but the best, good health and prosperity and Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. That concludes our public comment.
Thank you.
I'd like to acknowledge someone that's been around for a while and has helped our children immensely. So I'd like to introduce Rocky Anello to help me give out some certificates.
First, I just want to say thank you to all the support of the board. This is my 40th year, and nothing brings me more joy than to be with these students, the very, very special students of Mount Vernon. Nothing brings me back every September than to see their faces and to feel their joy and their desire to be a part of the community, be a part of the school, and to just bring joy everywhere that they go. They treat each other with love, kindness, and they're such an example for the rest of the school and for our community. Okay, well, the first one is Zachary, but he's not here tonight, okay? This is for our Special Olympics Pioneer League team, which we play against different schools in Westchester County, and we play 4 or 5 different sports. They have uniforms. We get to go on the buses to games, and we get to really feel what it's like to be a part of a team. Yeah.
Okay. One of our very special athletes, just an incredible young lady. She has one more year, which we're privileged to have her back, Maya Clark.
Thank you, Maya.
What's your favorite part of the Olympics, Maya?
Playing soccer.
Soccer, that's my girl.
This special student came to us a couple of years ago, and he exemplifies what it means to be part of a team and to just give everything he has to be supportive of everyone and to just have the best attitude. And that's Arturo Cruz Avalon.
Favorite part of the Olympics?
The basketball.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome. This next student is a senior, and he's graduating this year, and he will be missed. Once again, just the heart of our team. He is supportive, encouraging, always willing and able. Jaden Perry.
Congratulations on your graduation, David. So what was your favorite part of the Olympics this year?
Playing Team Handball.
Team handball, awesome. Woo, yes.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Jaden.
In London. Okay, this is one of our returning seniors. He was able to have another year with us, and once again, an incredible athlete, motivated, just happy, a great team player, Emmanuel Waif.
Hi, Emmanuel. Hi. How are you? Cool? Can you say hi to President Sanders? How you doing? So, Emmanuel, what did you like about the Olympics this year?
Play basketball.
And then we have one for us. What's your favorite part?
Oh.
And what's your favorite part of this Olympics?
It's not even about the sports. It's just being with these guys. When we eat, and when we have fun, and we laugh, and we just the best. Thank you. Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to take a recess.
Maybe 15 minutes.
A 15-minute recess, and we'll be back at 7:30. On curriculum mapping.
Has to be. Okay, so they go first. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. This afternoon we have two presentations under the superintendent's report. One is on the curriculum map, and the other one is on online registration. So, but before I bring the folks who are involved in doing the curriculum map, Dr. BC didn't do it. Dr. BC organized it, but Dr. BC didn't do it. So I'm not going to take that credit. But I would like everybody in the audience who worked on it. You have 42 people who worked on it. And remember I said to the board that we were going to do the curriculum map and you would have it by the end of June. So we delivered. Yay. So. However, when you build a curriculum, it has 3 parts. Right. You have the curriculum map, because you have to know where you're going to go, so you need a map. You have the unit of study, which is the meat and potatoes, and you have the framework. So we are going to present to you the curriculum map. So I would like everybody in the audience to stand who worked on the map, because they're here, administrators and teachers. And we have to... Yes. And we have to applaud them and all the others who are looking at home, because as I said, it's 42 individuals was involved. And we also have with us this evening, Dr. Monica George Fields, who is the CEO of REACH, and she was the one who had the team together and helped them through this whole process. And according to her, she's not feeling well today, but she made it anyway because we promised that we were going to do it at the end of June. So without further ado, it's getting late. I am going to hand over to Dr. Doggett, who will come and lead the rest of the team. You see, he's a new assistant superintendent of curriculum, so he takes his work seriously. Okay? All right.
And I take my cleanliness seriously, too. Good evening, everyone. All right, we're going to get through the presentation fairly quickly. It's more of an overview and an update of the curriculum mapping work that we've been working on for the past 20-plus Thursdays. So if you will go to the next slide. The curriculum map and social studies alignment work was done as a joint effort between the Mount Vernon City School District teachers, administrators, and Office of School Improvement. And I want to thank the ELA and Social Studies Committee of teachers, administrators for their hard work over the course of 20-plus Thursdays and offline hours to complete this work.
You got a hot mic.
What did I do?
It's off now. Next slide. The presenters will be myself, Jessica DeChico from Homeschool, Christine White from Trapegan, Tawana Youngblood from Homeschool, and Dr. Monica George Fields. Oh, you gave me the clicker. The curriculum development was an effort to ensure that the district staff and all stakeholders had access to understand the progression of the learning allowed to the ELA and social studies standards. Included for each unit in ELA are the titles for 8 units of reading and writing units of study, essential questions, which is the big idea, the most important learning, standards addressed, suggested readings and skills taught within each unit of study. Now, the committee added several options for reading for teachers to select from. Once this was done, they aligned it with the reading standards. So, who will have access to the ELA curriculum maps? The entire Mount Vernon City School District staff. The staff will have access to the ELA's curriculum map using the district's Atlas Rubicon. Now, what Atlas is a curriculum mapping and management tool districts use to organize and plan what is happening at certain points in the school year. This will also allow for staff to see how students' learning progresses from grades K to 8 across the New York State Education Department. This will also be a resource to the community in an effort to increase the connection between families and community. The community members will be able to access the curriculum map on the district website so they can support students learning at home. Now, the overall goal of the maps is to reduce variability in instruction while increasing transparency and accountability. This will ensure that students arrive at a place of college and career readiness upon graduating our Mount Vernon City schools. So to give you a snapshot of the early childhood ELA map, we have Jessica DeChico from Homeschool who will come up and speak about this.
Okay, so this map is organized by grade and explains what each unit focuses on for grades K through 3. So this is you can turn to the next slide. Yeah. So this is like a little snapshot of what one unit would look like in particular. So we have the month, we have unit 1, the name of the unit. So for example, we are readers. EQ stands for essential question. So what does reading workshop look and feel like? So the essential question usually promotes conceptual thinking and understanding of new skills. Then we have the standards. So they're the next generation standards. K stands for kindergarten. This is a kindergarten unit. RF stands for foundational skills. And R stands for literary and informational text. And then the different numbers are the different standards. Then we have some list of books. S stands for Scholastic, so any books that have an S at the end are from Scholastic, and then J is for Journeys. So those were books that were used from Journeys. And then it will list the skills, so what the students are learning. So for example, a skill that they would learn in this unit, understand that pictures hold meaning. And then, yeah.
Thank you. Next up, we have Christine White from Trapegan, who will talk upper grade ELA mapping.
Good evening. So with the upper grade unit, it's really just a framework right now, and it mimics what the lower grades, what they had on their slide. But when we say test prep, we don't mean the typical test prep that we've seen, you know, reviewing multiple choice questions and things like that. What we're really referring to is a more intensive form of test prep where students will work together to review all of the skills that they've covered, such as what is theme, such as main idea. So that's what you see here under this essential question. How do good readers determine the main idea or central message of a reading? Again, these standards are for the younger grades, but we have our standards listed also. What we really found that was interesting is when we were creating the different units and listing the books, it provides a lot of flexibility for teachers where they will have these mentor texts that they can choose from and continue to pull from. Like it says with the skills, understand that pictures hold meaning. So again, the skills with the test prep unit, the skills will just be reviewed of what they've covered so far.
Thank you. And next up, to give us a glimpse of what's happening with social studies and ELA and social studies, we have Tawana Youngblood from Homeschool.
Good evening, everyone. Beginning with 6th grade, the students with this curriculum will focus on middle school concepts aligned to the standards. 6th grade is basically thematic, so as you can see, there's the introduction of primary sources, letters from Birmingham, also information on Gandhi will be discussed. And then once they transition into 7th grade, next slide please, the 7th and 8th grade curriculum becomes more topic-based. So we start off with a foundation in 7th and 8th grade. Why do we even study history? And then we go into specific topics such as this. How did slavery affect the colonies? And then we also have our essential questions. And we also have our sources, standards. Indentured servitude or indentured service would be one of the key vocabulary that we would cover. And then we also want to focus on project-based learning in the 7th and 8th grade, such as colonial newspapers. We do brochures with also focusing on primary and secondary sources. And basically within the social studies curriculum, each grade level of the curriculum, K through 8, next slide please, has the name of the unit, essential questions, instructional outcomes, standards, resources, vocabulary, and varied assessments. Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Dr. Monica George Fields, President and CEO of Reach Educational Solutions, to close us out.
Thank you, everyone. I don't claim to be sick. I am sick. Let me just make that clear. But I had to come because it was a promise, and I have to commend all of the hard work of the teachers and administrators of Mount Vernon. They worked so hard. And I have to say, you are really on a trajectory of having a literacy curriculum, much like schools on the Upper West Side where their students are doing very well. To just be forward thinking and to understand that even with the resources you currently have, that the approach in the way you teach is what makes a difference, is unheard of for some districts. And I say that because I work with many districts around the state, and many of them are still stuck in this one way of thinking and don't understand or will not even take the risk or chance or give their teachers and principals the opportunity to think out of the box, be innovative, but most importantly, put instruction in front of students where the students can see themselves in the text, can see themselves in the reading, can see themselves in the writing, and respect where a student is, but never have low expectations. And that's what this does. So that's why I drove 2 hours with this fever just to come here and say that I could not let you all down. So having this, and I am holding this with this, so I'm trying not to give anybody my cooties. I am COVID negative though. So with this, the district has this curriculum that will be standards-based. However, the teachers will have opportunities to ground their high expectations for students in the individual work of where students are and what they expect of students. In addition to that, the district took one additional step in aligning the social studies curriculum map to the literacy map, which gives teachers and students the opportunity to go a mile deep and an inch wide. And in any education research, that shows to be the most effective. When we give our students things to do every day, just because we have a list of standards on a board, it doesn't ensure that they will internalize what they are learning. Doing this way will give students an opportunity not only to look at their reading during reading, but to also extend their opportunities in reading and writing during social studies, all the way from kindergarten through 8th grade. Next slide. The next, Dr. Bennett Conroy talked about this being a tiered plan. We don't just want to give teachers and administrators, as much as this was a collaborative effort, a piece of paper and expect that they'll know how to walk into a classroom and deliver. So the professional development is paramount. Side-by-side professional development, helping teachers understand how planning looks to be effective for this type of work. Working with school leaders around how they see and view these lessons when they go inside the classroom so that they can provide feedback to teachers that will move their practice rather than just rehash or just summarize what they said. You want observations, you want classroom visits that actually provides instructional feedback so teachers can grow their practices, not just come in and say, I saw you do this, I saw you do that, I saw you do this. This observation is a whatever the rating is. You want observations and visits that actually move a teacher's practice. I saw that when you had an opportunity to have a table conference, that did not happen. Here are some suggestions of what you can do with that. I saw you have a strategy group. But I did not see you take notes. That is really important
so that when you meet with those same students the next time, you're not stating what you already said to them, but that you're actually moving them forward in their trajectory of learning. So the professional development plan will be comprehensive, and it won't only sit with teachers, it will also sit with the school leaders. And I will be working directly with Dr. Doggett and, of course, Dr. Vernon Conroy to ensure that teachers know how to deliver this instructional map, because just having it in writing, it's just a piece of paper.
Yep.
You got to act on it. So we're going to take the writing to enactment, and that's the next step. I don't know. Should I wait for questions or no? No?
I don't know if anybody have any questions, but
Okay, so, a suggestion. Would it be possible, after our little powwow 15 minutes ago, to consider to include, as of 8th grade to high school, the history of Mount Vernon? You know, in the curriculum?
In curriculum?
Yeah, like to do a little, like lessons. Okay, hold on. So would it be possible to include in the curriculum, you know, like a unit, a small unit of study from, you know, for 8th graders and high schoolers? I'm sorry, I just came out like really hyped out of that 15-minute powwow with the history of Mount Vernon.
Right. I think that's something that we can look at and use that as a sample of what we, you know, because in different lessons, when you're doing social studies, you can use that Mount Vernon as a sample of what you want the kids to learn about, if you want them to see themselves in the text. So it's something that we can visit. Right.
And the other part is in the workshops, to see if we could include there as well our parent coordinators, you know, to be trained in order to give workshop to our parents to understand the curriculum, to understand and give them ideas how to help the students, you know, their kids to master the curriculum, you know, the standards in the curriculum.
Maybe, you know, we're doing some tutorials for the website for parents, for the new website, and maybe we could do a tutorial on the curriculum mapping. So we'll have to distill it down, obviously, but maybe we can do that in that section and have a video that parents can click on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last thing, Dr. BC, is I regret not taking your invitation and participating on this. I really do. This sounds awesome.
Okay, it is awesome. And I know working with the teachers and the administrators, it's awesome. It was bone chilling because it's after work, after a whole day.
Yeah.
And it's not about the money, it's about the time that they put in. And I have to tell you that it was a wonderful group, as I said, of 42 folks who sat down with Dr. Monica George Fields, and they went to town on that because at least they want to see that the curriculum that they build so that they understand it and other people can understand it too. So
we still.
I said kudos to them.
We still have money on that grant to keep on moving on, right?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. BC.
Okay,
Thank
all right.
you very much.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. George Fields.
Thank you. I think Trustee Patterson had a question.
This is more. No, this is more, I think, for the district, not as much for you. My question, and I know I had the question, so I'd like for everyone else to hear the answer. This presentation is addressing only ELA and social studies.
Right, because math and science and arts and music was already done.
Thank you,
and I will bring Dr. Jack Nanden to present it at another point in time. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the great job. Thanks, teachers. Thanks, Dr. Doggett.
So the second presentation we have is about online enrollment. So bear with us for a little bit because all my parents out there are looking tonight because they're a little bit confused as to how they're going to do this online registration coming up July 11th. So I asked Dr. Veronica Smith, Kimmy, to do a presentation on online registration so that they can see. And I know for a fact my parents are watching it right now because they told me, one of them just texted me, why is it taking so long? Because she wants to see the presentation. So I'm saying to you, Dr. Kim Smith, please, let's do a presentation for them because they're very anxious about this online registration.
Good evening, everyone. I am truly excited about presenting tonight on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. About 3 years ago, I went to Yonkers, and I met with my counterpart there because they were doing online registration. And I bumped into a parent that was a former district employee, and she was telling me how wonderful it was. I came back to Mount Vernon with all my enthusiasm and said, oh, we have to do online registration. They told me about the kinks in the first year is difficult, but once they got past that first year, it was very cost effective. They also, so I spoke to the parent and she expressed how she felt on the other side. So I had felt like I spoke on both sides, but I came back, like I said to the district, and I wanted to be able to do online registration. Gail White-Wallace is here too. She really was enthusiastic about online registration because she had experienced it in her child's district, correct? Needless to say, I had to put the brakes on my enthusiasm because I heard that we was invested in the student information system, and I would have to wait. First it was a year, then it was 2 years, and you know, I didn't give up. Anyway, I'm pleased to say that it's here, finally. Online registration. Okay? So tonight I will be presenting with Dr. Gabaton and Dr. Cisello because we're working hand in hand basically to get this up and running. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that a part of our team is Gail White-Wallace because right now we're doing pre-K registration. Now, I don't have the tambourines and the balloons that she would have. I want you to know that I'm equally excited. So let me move forward. As I indicated, we're in the process right now of doing early registration for pre-K. Granted, in years past, we began early registration in March and April, and our dates kind of got pushed back because, you know, the online registration comes through our new system, Infinite Campus, and we had to do much training and come up to speed. But you have those folks that's much more savvy than I am in terms of being in computers, so we're getting things on board. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention Liz Gallo, because she's led the charge in terms of all the staff members becoming familiar with our new Infinite Campus system. So with that said, someone might say, and please, the next slide, please, why online registration? Registration for enrollment into the district will now be completed and submitted online. So what does that mean? When someone says to you, anyone, and I'm talking to you parent liaisons, if someone says to you, how can I enroll my child? You will tell them that they can enroll online. So we're online. We're online for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's much more efficient. And number two, especially coming out of the pandemic, you want to have the least amount of contact as possible. So it's also about safety. Next slide. In order to do online registration, you still require several documents. we've gone through some transition. Many years ago, registration was that parents came to the district and they had to have all their documents and the registrars registered them. I don't want to go back in time, but Dr. Roy, you remember those long nights that we had here at the district. We would leave sometime at midnight, and we had lines and lines of parents. Does anyone remember that? So, and sometimes parents didn't have what they needed, and they had to come back and forth. So we went from parents coming in, and then COVID hit, and that changed everything. So we moved from that to having parents drop off their packets or mail them into us. And that's what we've been doing up until now. But whenever they register, from the old system to the most recent system, they really had to have certain documents. First of all, they needed one of the following. They needed a current mortgage statement or a current tax bill. They needed a lease agreement. If not, they could have an affidavit, or social services could provide some information. Next slide, please. Other documents that are still required would be two of the following: a pay stub, income tax form, utility bill such as Con Ed. They could have a membership document, which is like a library card, voter registration, and state-of-the-art identification. The list is online, and they could access this information. They also need photo ID. That photo ID could be a government, state ID, employment ID, or a passport. They would need proof of age for the child. That could be birth certificate or passport. Next page, please. Other documents, and I won't go through the whole list. You need driver's license or, like I said, government identification, school, consulate identification cards. It's a list. Like I said, all of this is on the website. For foster care, housing, temporary housing, or homeless and emancipated youth, someone should call a number, and that number is 914-358-2380, so that we could walk them through the process. In the case with foster care, for example, they have one form that the government says all they have to do is produce this LS-299 form, and they have to be registered. So again, foster care, temporary housing, and emancipated youth really should call us, because their online registration will be somewhat different. So now, in order to gear up and get ready for online registration, of course, the things that you would need, next slide please, you would need a laptop or a desktop. You need an email address. However, if you don't have access to a computer, one of those, call that number again, 914-358-2380. So what does that mean? We will be scheduling appointments. We want to help everyone in terms of registration. I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Cicella.
Good evening. So when you talk about the online registration process, you also have to include our families that English is not their first language. So as the district administrator for bilingual education, world languages, and E&L, we took Infinite Campus one step further. We consulted, or I actually consulted with some of my colleagues in other districts to see how they were getting it done. So if you can go to the next slide, please. One more, keep going. Keep going. Okay.
So if you notice, the Multilingual Intake Center for non-English speaking families, there's 2 links. So also, I'm sorry, thank you. These 2 links can also be found under my signature in my email address and also under my secretary, Ms. Sarah Garai's email signature. The first one, if you tap on it, it allows you to book a registration appointment. Now, when you click on it, it will book the appointment and it brings you to another page. I don't know if that's possible to do if the link is live. Okay. So it brings you, yes, this is the appointment page. And this is what Dr. Smith was speaking to, that some of the registrars will now have also available to themselves. So this, not registration, but appointment page will allow the parent to go in and book a time to request to meet with myself or Ms. Garai in order to get support and assistance. It's also in parallel text. If you click on read more, you will see that what is stated in English is also written in Spanish. Now that we have the platform deck, thanks to Dr. Smith, created for Infinite Campus, we can now have access to the platform deck ourselves, and we can go in and make parallel text. Dr. Gabaton will show you of the actual registration page. So while the parents are registering, they will have a choice, like our sister districts in Ossining and other districts, that'll give them the option of English or Spanish. And when they click on the Spanish, it'll take them through the process in Spanish to register. The appointments are specifically to continue to have the mandates met for Commissioner's Regulation 154 in order to ensure that our ENL students are identified correctly and to ensure that funding is continued under the grants that we receive through these, through the registration. So can you go to the, I don't know if I can get out of this now. One more. Is there one more? No, this is it. There might be one more slide. So one of the slide decks is the home language questionnaire. This is a mandated piece of document that has to be into the registration online packet. It's a mandate that will allow us to potentially know who are our potential Ls in the district. So it's there listed in multiple language. Right now it's there listed in the 5 high-frequency languages or the 6 high-frequency languages of the district to ensure that the district remain in compliance. And that's it for me. Thank you.
All right. So what we've been working on is the actual online registration. So we are going to go to register online. So this is the live link. When parent comes in, they press on the button that will take them to online registration.
That's what I heard. So why he doesn't put it on Facebook?
Okay. So when you begin, he's going to click on Start New Registration. And then you click on Next, 2223, then Next. Then the parent will put their name. So we're actually going to we'll create a live registration. I'll delete it tomorrow, I promise. So the parent's name is Vernon, last name is Knight, birthday is July 1st, 1971. You must have an email address. So parents who do not have an email address, we help them create one through Gmail. Okay? And then you will see why it's important to have an email address in a few minutes. We also want to make sure that if the parent is in the district, they could choose yes or no. For this one, we're going to put no. We're going to put, for the district, we're going to put no. And then there's a little code because we want to make sure it's not a robot registering little robot. And then you're going to get begin registration. And then you're going to click confirm. Oh, very important. You notice his application 230. Remember that. So imagine you're cooking and you have to leave. You could come back just by putting your number back so you could finish your registration. That's great. Okay? Now click on confirm. Okay? Now you have a pop-up window. Vernon Knight is going to type in her name or his name in that case. And then you're going to sign as best as you can with the mouse. And now click submit. Once the parents submit, it goes through the list of documents they need and this is when the parent need to make sure they have all their documents ready. Then the parent is going to click begin. Okay. Once you begin, the first thing to start building the household is the phone number. So we're going to go with 914-555-5555. And next. Okay. Then we're going to need an address. So we're going to use 165. And if the address has been used before, the parent could actually click the address themselves. So it's not there. I double check. 165 North Columbus Avenue. Just put Columbus Avenue. Go ahead. Now, we allow parents to write it in, but they could also go in and put the avenue in the drop-down menu, and we did that to make sure our parents who are non-English speaking could have that done. You also could put the street name. We just use the alphabet part. Also, there's a line for the apartment. So for this case, we're going to put apartment 1. Okay. And then you're going to put the city, Mount Vernon. State is New York. 10552. Okay. And we want them to put the county, Westchester. Okay. Once the address is done, the parent is then going to click next. Okay. So then it asks the parent, is this truly their address? If the parent says yes, also if this is where they get their mail, the parent then is going to click on next. Okay. Once you're done, you're in the middle of registration. So this is going to ask you to show proof. So the first question that's important, are you a renter or are you do you have a lease? So when you click on the drop down button, you're going to click have a renter. Okay. Then the parent is going to put the expiration date of their lease. So we're going to put 09/1/2024. Okay. Then the parent can upload a copy of their lease. Now, parents could use their iPhone camera to take a picture of the document, or they could download a tiny scanner that allows them to scan. So once you click on it, go ahead, a box pop up. For this one, we're going to use the picture of Mount Vernon. He's going to just choose one, right? And if you notice now, it's attached. Remember, you need a second proof, so he's going to click on that. So that's where he's going to put the Con Ed bill. Okay? And finally, you need a second proof to identify. So usually a license, a driver's license, or maybe a pay stub. And go ahead, we're going to attach that. Okay? Then the parent is going to click on save and continue. Okay? Next, the parent is going to put in their name. Click OK. The parent is going to type in their name. You notice the name is already there for them. So then you're going to choose a gender. You must put the gender. And we have male, female, or binary. So this parent is female. Then the parent is going to click, I am registering myself. But look, you have to read it. And there's a warning. Once you do it, it tells you. Right? It asks you, by selecting this checkbox, you're indicating that you are an emancipated minor. So if we have students who are emancipated, they are able to register themselves. So click cancel. Okay? And then make sure it's not checked. So if we have students who are by themselves, who are responsible themselves, they could still register in school. Okay? Once they do that, you're now going to upload your ID. Okay? Click on next. And now the parent is going to put their contact information. So the cell phone number, 914-555-5555. So this is what I want everyone to see. You notice where it says work phone, other phone, and the email, and you notice the check marks? So Infinite Campus will send parent attendance. It will send parent messages from the classroom, from teachers. It will send parents will be able to access report card. Everything is sent using that email address that the parent used to register. Okay? So we're going to click on next. All right. Once you click on next, then it's going to ask you if you're a migrant worker. Again, we want to make sure we have all our parents accounted for. We're going to click no for this demonstration, and then click on next. Then it's going to ask you you know, this is question that impact AIDS. It's going to ask, go ahead. It's going to ask you if this is grant. We're also going to click on no. And then we're going to click save and continue. Now, the parent is in the system. We're going to click save. Okay. The next is your emergency contact. Infinite Campus allow you to put 4 emergency contact. Now, if mom and dad, that's separate, that's going to be part of the parent. You could add additional people as parent, mom, dad, and then you have emergency. Go ahead, click add emergency contact. Click OK. Okay, first name is Mickey. Last name is Mouse. We don't need to put the emergency contact's birthday. However, we still need to put whether they're male or female. Okay, and then click on next. So again, we're going to put a number, 914-555-5551. Okay, and then you could also add your emergency contact's email address. Okay, now we're just going to click on next. Okay, once we do, it's going to ask you to do they live in the house with you? If they do, all you have to do is click the name. Okay, for this demonstration, we're going to put a different address. So we're going to put 100 California Road, Mount Vernon, New York, on the second line, yes. 10550. And then click on save and continue. Okay, so now the emergency contact is done. We're going to add save and continue. So this allows us as a district to start collecting children who we know will be joining our school. Okay, so if, for example, mom had a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old, we could collect the data now and project our future enrollment. So since we don't have any children under the age of school, we're going to click and save. And now we are going to add our student. So click add new student. Okay, so our student's first name is Mount Vernon. Okay. Knight. Junior, of course. Yeah. Okay, and then you're going to put the gender, male. The birthday is going to be 1/01/2018. Okay, and then the parent is going to put. The parent is allowed to put birth country. So the birth country is going to be the United States, which is the first one. Birth city will be state is going to be New York. Birth city will be New Rochelle. And grade, let's do PK4. Okay. All right. So the other question we collect is this is a foreign exchange student. For this case it is no, so you're going to click on no. And then you're going to then click upload birth certificate. Okay. All right. Now you're going to click on next. So the next one is demographic. So the first one, it asks if the student is considered Hispanic. For this one, we're going to click on yes. Okay, and then it asks you your race. So this is where a lot of time we explain to parents the difference between ethnicity and race. So for this case, we are going to put Native American. All right, then click next. Okay, now it's going to ask you about your household. If your current address temporary, again, we want to make sure we capture our students who are McKinney-Vento or homeless student. And for this case, we're going to put no. If we chose yes, just go to yes for a minute for me. If you notice, the moment you chose yes, it asks them, what is their housing situation? Are they using shared houses? In New York State, if I have a child and my child is living with Uncle Ken, that child is considered homeless. Right, because that child is not living in my household. So all those things are also collected. The parent then would have to upload a stack form, and once they do, they then will have the calendar link for our 2 social workers, Dr. Reynolds and Ms. Parker, so they could contact them. But please go ahead and click on no. Okay, now click on next. Now, maybe the child had services other places, so it asks about did they have a previous IEP? We're going to click no. Okay. You know, did the child have a 504? We're also going to click no. Are there any other services? For all the services for this demonstration, we're going to click no. And if they do click yes, for example, for the IEP, we ask the parent to upload a copy if they have one. Right? And again, you notice the IEP pops up. So the parent, if the parent had a previous IEP, they could actually upload it. So at the same time, once they do, our special education department gets an email. Look out for this child who already has an IEP. So this allows us to have services before registration so that we know who needs services. So go ahead, click no, and then go next. All right. So this is the screen Dr. Cicello shared with you with our home language. Every single person has to do it, whether you speak English or whatever language you speak. So all parents have to do is click on the English one. If you click on it, fill it, then you scroll down, right? So this is also the Medicaid form that parents, if the parent wants have the Medicaid form, they could also upload it. So go back to the registration window, okay? And if they do have the, also now click on the home language questionnaire, the one on top, okay? Once you click on it and you read it, you could close it, and then we're going to upload it. Click attach. Okay. All right, click on next. Now, if you notice he didn't choose the birth language, it gives the parent a red light. So there's built-in warning if the parent misses a step. Okay? So you're going to put the languages, the student language is English, the parent is English, and then click on next. Okay? We also ask parents for previous school. If they do not have, so this child is pre-K, just go to next. And again, if the student, the other documentation we collect is the FERPA form. This allows our district to share academic information with the child. So if you click on that, we have it there so parents could just print it out. We are working on making it fillable so parents could fill it right there on the computer. Okay, you could close that and then upload. Click attach. Upload right there. And upload that. Okay, now you could go on to next. Okay. Now is the tribal enrollment. We also, that's data that we collect. For this demonstration, we're going to click no. Okay. Again, you notice, now we're going to build relationship. Mount Vernon Knight is the parent, so you're going to make her the mother. We asked Ms. Gallo to move some of those further up so parents don't have to look for them. Go ahead. It's going to say mother/natural or adopted there. Now, all the way to the left-hand side, yes. So we're going to be, that's going to be the first person who's going to receive the email. So you're going to make her number 1. Okay. Now, go ahead. We also allow for a foster care student if they have documentation, if they foster care. Also, international students, when they come, the parent usually sometime will come with guardianship paper. So please click on no. And then click on next. Okay? The next relationship. So Mickey Mouse. So who is Mickey Mouse to the student? So Mickey Mouse is the aunt. And Mickey Mouse will be the second person who receives a phone call or an email. And click on next. Okay. So right now, the parents are able to put in immunization records on their own. I know it looks like it's a lot. The entire process takes about 45 minutes from beginning to end. Once the parent is done, registration is complete. They're totally done with their registration. All we have to do as a school is log on and activate the student. We do go in and double check every single document and verify the document. Once we do, and we accept it, the parent automatically gets an email that their child has been registered. Right? It is a ladder screen. We do collect all these information. However, the parent doesn't have to bring packets upon packets into the district. It is instant. They do it from home. As of today, we have 205 registration. That is done. I checked this morning. Any parent who are stuck, all they have to do is ask them to make an appointment and they come and we help them through scanning, through answering questions, or if they have documents, we are more than happy to help them. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Can we utilize the Parent Resource Center to help parents navigate through this?
Yes, when they're trained, that's part of it. When they're trained.
Parent Resource Center.
Can the Parent Resource
Okay, so we have a command center set up in the community room at Mount Vernon High School. So it is manned Monday to Thursday, 8:30 till 1 is the first, 8:30 to 12, then we have an hour lunch, and then from 1 o'clock until 3. We have had many parents have come, and we've helped them with registration, especially if the parents do not have a computer. Basically, the parent has a computer in front of them, they type in all their personal information, and we assist them with uploading. And we also, if they need a translation, we also provide that as well.
The question was that if the parent resource room can be used to help register the parents.
Oh, of course, the more the merrier.
And I said yes, because the parents liaison going to be trained on Infinite Campus as well.
Yeah.
I saw something that I think you said you had something about living with family.
Mm-hmm.
So how would they navigate that if they don't have any type of, if I have a son living with a friend's mother? How do
So
they
in
navigate
our
that?
questionnaire, it asks who you are living with. So for example, if you are not living with your parent, that's one of the questions you click. If you are living in a shelter, you also click that as well.
So does that person have to have custody? How does that work?
No. A lot of that time, that person is an unaccompanied youth, and they will speak with one of our McKinney-Vento social workers so that we could help them.
And also, I think I saw something about a pay stub. People don't get pay stubs.
If parents do not have pay stub, if you notice on the list of documents Dr. Smith gave you, there's a plethora of documents. If they don't have a pay stub, they could use, SSI disability. The reason we ask is because we need a third proof of address, something with their address on it. Also, your library registration, your address is on it. So we accept that as well.
Thank you.
I just wanted to indicate that the 45 minutes that Dr. Gabatar mentioned is because it's new. It's new for all of us. As we work with parents, as we become better familiar ourselves, it will be a much more speedier process.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much.
It only takes me 15 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
What are we doing now? We're going to go.
That concludes the superintendent.
That concludes the superintendent's report. Wow, that was a whole 3 hours, huh? So we're going to go to committee reports now. Committee reports?
Speaking of the Parent Resource Center, I was there on the 15th. They had a doctor, an MD, who's a specialist in childhood nutrition. It was an amazing presentation. The room is fantastic. It's set up beautifully. It's very accommodating. The team is very pumped up. I just want to give a huge shout out. It's a dream come true, and I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. BC for getting it over the finish line and for the parent liaisons for their enthusiasm. It's fantastic. I was so excited. I told my daughter that her old whiteboard from college is going to go in the Parent Resource Center, so we're going to move that over there. They have an extra whiteboard. But anyway, it was really fantastic, and you just saw the potential that we have with the kind of programming and the innovative team that we have. There was a lot of food for thought, no pun intended, just from the nutrition presentation. Made me ask questions like, we should really be teaching nutrition in elementary school, not wait till health, But anyway, there was a lot to think about, and I'm extremely excited about volunteering my own time in the center and just helping move the process along and also promoting it, which we're going to be talking about very shortly. But I think it's just exciting, and once it gets going, it's going to take time to catch on, but once it gets going, it gets traction. I'm super excited. website front, we're moving along. We are getting the photos uploaded that the student photographers took, and I am going to want to acknowledge the student photographers come fall, come September, maybe Nightlight Award, whatever we do for them, but just give them a shout out for being willing to go to the schools and take the photographs for the website. What else? I think that's it. Well, we know we do have one strong candidate for web manager. Woohoo! If that comes along, then we'll plan for training, and I think we can get that through Lyric, through BOCES. We have a really good relationship with someone there who's excellent. So I'm very excited about it, and that's my report.
Good evening, Mount Vernon. I sound like our district clerk now. Good evening, all. And yes, another shout out to the parent liaisons. They are always amazing. I really, really appreciate everything that you do for us. So unfortunately, our SEAC parent workshop couldn't take place because Dr. Smith had an emergency and I had a massive migraine. And for those, it took place. Oh, it took place? Oh, you didn't tell me. Oh, okay. So please let us know because you didn't tell me.
Sorry. White was there.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Oh, because I was not aware. Nobody told me. So do you mind telling us what happened? Because I wasn't able to participate because I had an emergency and I had a massive migraine. And for people that suffer from migraines, you know what's going on.
Corinne.
Hi, Corinne. Do you mind giving us a little synopsis of what?
I just went in.
Okay.
For a while.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Great. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi. So the June SEAC meeting, we had Miss Maria Quadra-Hibbert, our nurse supervisor, who came and spoke about a lot of health-related and wellness issues to the parents. She gave a quick presentation, about 25 minutes, and then there was a question and answer, and then we just had discussions, and we closed out for the year.
Oh, well, technically we don't want to close out for the year because we have parents that have requested for summer. So due to my migraine, we were not able to meet as a committee. So I am waiting for all this madness, with the vote and everything to pass to call for a new special ed committee, a meeting. That way we could discuss what other things we could do over the summer. And thank you very much, Trustee White, for being there because I was not aware that it took place. I really appreciate teamwork makes the dream work. Don't look at me like that, Dr. Smith. Thank you. The other thing is that I have passed the proposal for the aquatics program for our special needs children to Dr. BC. We will be sitting down and going over it, and hopefully for our next meeting, we have something to present. The other question that I have to you, Dr. BC, where are we with the canvases and the anti-violence?
We do have the materials. As I said, we're going to use it over the summer. It's going to be a summer school art project.
So that is something that Dr. BC and myself, we were working on creating, and I have mentioned several times, on creating an anti-violence art project with all of our students. And she was, like always, very resourceful and found people to donate the materials and spoke to the principals. And they will be selecting, correct me if I'm wrong, a class for the summer to create a design and to put that design on a canvas. And we will be having an exhibition, hopefully for September here. And then we'll be moving it around, right, transferring through all the schools. Last but not least, a little reminder that we do have our pool, and I know that I do it every time that I give the committee meeting. We do have our pool available. Please utilize our pool. Take your children. Have them take swim classes. It is extremely important that our children be safe in the water and learn how to be safe in the water. Just take a visit, talk to the instructors over there, and it is a good opportunity for us kids to exercise and to learn to have safe fun in the water. And hopefully, like I said, next meeting, we will be talking about our aquatics program for our special needs. Thank you.
John Aiden, do you have a committee report?
Not gonna lie, it kind of is the end of the year.
You have anything to say?
I do actually. This has been a heck of a ride. I came here in September. I didn't know what to expect. I was meeting all you guys for the first time. I'd heard of a lot of you, but for about half you guys, my first time meeting you. One word I'd say from this was growth. Learning more about the jobs that you guys do. Meeting more students, I would say, definitely from STEAM and from the high. Talking to staff as well from both schools, including my own. It's definitely been an eye-opening experience to the way the district works, to the trials and tribulations which you guys go through on a daily basis. But I was glad that I was able to see it. I was glad I was able to learn from it, and I was glad that I was able to help a couple people, even if it was in a small way, as long as I made an impact.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Patterson, Trustee Red, Trustee White.
All right, really quick. I've spoken to Mr. Silver over the past week regarding. We talked briefly earlier about the playground assessment. We've been still talking about that as far as repairs, closing in on timing. And I want to also remind that the renaming for Holmes and Columbus School is still happening. That's done, but the ceremonies are. I'm working with Taylor so that we can hopefully have that at some point in September before the school season kicks off. And it'll be at the school buildings, and it will be something big. That's all I have for now.
Okay. I want to congratulate all the graduates too. Okay. So what's next here? I lost my page.
Oh, Dr. VC, I have a question. I'm sorry, I forgot. Where are we with the hiring of a new director for special ed? I'm sorry.
Well, we hired one. She came in to do the intake, but she didn't take the job because she wants more money.
Oh.
So we are back to the drawing board, but we do have another candidate that we are looking at, which is just as good.
This is good.
Okie dokie.
So, and that's going to be tomorrow, Kim? Tomorrow is, right.
Oh, so we have it, okay.
You see, even though you have one good person, you have to keep looking, and keep looking.
Pipeline going.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the Benjamins.
So, do we need to follow up on any old business? Okay, so we need to go right on to HR. I think that's where you were going, Trustee. Want to read the HR resolutions?
What?
You went into HR when you asked about.
Oh. Motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
You ready to go, huh?
Can I please have a motion and a second for the authorization to hire staff for summer high school credit recovery pre-registration?
Motion.
Let me know.
Before we go,
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yes, I have a question. About approximately how many students for each of the high schools are we talking about who are undercredited? Because that's what this is for, right? For credit recovery over the summer.
Yes.
So hopefully they can graduate this year.
In August.
Yeah, so how many students at each school?
Okay, I think we're still working on the numbers from Dr. Kim's office.
Okay, so
I think in the past, we condensed it. If it wasn't that many students, I think we may have condensed it to 1 or 2 buildings. Was that right, Darcy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had condensed it. So instead of having like 5 kids at Mount Vernon High School and, yeah. So that's something.
Okay,
we
well,
can look at.
if we could just get the numbers at the next meeting, that would be great. Thank you.
What I would do, I won't wait until the next meeting. I'll send it to you tomorrow. She said she has it in her report, so I'll forward it to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. BC.
Okay, next.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second for the authorization to hire staff for PBIS elementary school summer planning teams and district liaisons during the 2022-2023 school year?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve Human Resources Memorandum 61A certified dated June 21st, 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
So this is to fill in positions for what again, sorry?
Certified positions.
Certified positions that we have vacant right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You have any questions?
No, that was my question. I need a clarification on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve Human Resources Memorandum 61B, non-certified, dated June 21st, 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve for the cheerleading team to travel to Greeley, Pennsylvania for cheer camp?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Sorry.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second for the authorization to dispose of equipment in the metal shop at Mount Vernon High School?
Motion. I want to motion that one. Let me motion that one.
Second.
Yay.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Happy.
I got a question. Weren't we trying to figure out if somebody could purchase these things?
That's in the resolution.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly, yes. So, yeah, let's go.
It says through auction or other sale method.
Is it just that one room? I thought it was all the other rooms.
Yeah, what was the other question?
That's the big room.
That's the big one. The one,
That's a
the
real
one wanted
big
for.
one.
No, we visited, we had a few rooms.
So this resolution is only for the equipment in the metal shop room. The other room has to be sorted out. We're not exactly even sure what's in the other room. We have to take the stuff out to look at it.
The room we were in last week?
I'm sorry?
The room we were in last week?
That's correct.
Ken, who's doing the disposing of it? Who's doing that? Is that internal?
This is authorizing us to find an auction company to try to dispose of it.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second for the authorization for the Mount Vernon School undergrad students to accept a monetary donation from Allstate Air Control in the amount of $1,500 for their undergrad award ceremony that will take place on Friday, June 3rd, 2022?
Friday, June 3rd.
Pass.
It happened.
The donation may have come in after the event.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second for the other authorization to extend bid number 2020-21-01 electrical installation and repair services contract to Delta Electric, Inc. from July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023?
So The question I...
A second first, please.
Mr. Silver? So this is going to be effective July 1st?
That's correct. This company is now in the process of doing major electrical work having to do with the building condition survey. They're doing life safety work, emergency exit lights, things like that, and their contract ends next week. And we need to get this work done, so we're extending this contract. We're allowed to extend it for 3 years.
3 years?
From the original bid, 3 years. This will be the second year of the 3 years.
Okay. Get a motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve general funds transfers for 21-22 as of June 21st, 2022? Sorry.
Motion.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a question. So had we, on this, the moving the transfer from unallocated insurance to legal contracted services, had we under budgeted Ingerman Smith? Or do we have an excessively large bill from them?
I don't think...
Gus, don't only... Sorry.
I believe that our legal expenses in this current year exceeded what we had anticipated. I don't think we under budgeted. I think we're fine, but we had expenses that were beyond what we expected for the current year.
Okay, that's kind of what I meant. They exceeded what we thought.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, that money that we took out of the insurance line, the expectation at some point, as we've discussed a number of times, is that a few years, as you take on a higher retention in your own insurance, your claims are generally a few years lagging behind. Is this money that we originally put aside for our claims?
This is money from the current year's claim reserve, but we also have that increased substantially for next year, besides what will be left over from this year. Well, what's left over from this year will just go into the fund balance, so we're using some of that, which we will not use this year, to cover some of our legal expenses this year. But that line in the budget is increased to $800,000 next year.
Okay, so what I would caution is, I don't see an issue with it this year, but next year and the years going forward, everyone has to be cautious and careful that that money is not there as a piggy bank or something to take funds out of for other things that may end up being a higher cost. That money is there because there will be claims, let's be very clear, and that will have to be paid out of that money. So it may be there this year, but understand in years going ahead, it's not going to be there.
Yep. One other question, sorry, Mr. Silver, but so my recollection, and forgive me if I have this wrong, my recollection was that we budgeted our legal fees for the upcoming fiscal year flat.
We did not anticipate that our expenses would be so high this year, and we do not anticipate them to be this high next year. We anticipate to be okay as we were last year.
Okay, I think it's another item that budget needs to watch. Thank you. Got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize and approve an agreement between the board and a certain claimant resolving City Court of Mount Vernon, small claim part, complainant number SC-00915-21.
Motion. Question.
Okay.
So just so I'm understanding, what is the reason why we're doing this? How do we stop or govern this type of thing from turning into a widespread free-for-all of people with the same claim trying the same stunt? Because I need new devices also. Yep.
Well, I don't think we can call this a stunt.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should be talking about that here.
I'm sorry. If someone was to try to perform as a stunt, in other words, abuse it. What checkpoints do we have in place to ensure that it's not abused?
Well, first, I don't think we should be discussing this here, but This was a legal matter. This went to court, and this is an acceptance of an agreement.
So maybe we can add
There's
that
a
to
motion.
exec,
Okay.
just for.
Sure, is there a motion on the floor?
Yes,
Yes.
there is.
I thought this one was pulled.
Why?
Because it has to be.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Discussion.
Okay.
I didn't abstain. I abstained.
Darcy and Warren.
I may even say an aye. Sometimes I do, but you're sitting right here.
Can I please have a motion and a second to extend the contract with Savin Engineering PC for capital project accounting services for 22-23 fiscal year?
Motion. You might as well stay there. Mr. Silver, can you explain that?
We originally had a contract with Savin when our construction was pretty much finished for, I think, $50,000. There still remains $20,000 left of the original appropriation that the board approved some time ago. We still have some projects that have not completely been closed out with the state, and therefore we have not gotten our complete state aid allocation. And this is to get us, this $20,000 remains will be sufficient to close out all the existing projects with the state. We also will have the demolition of the Grimes Annex. That will require the completion of the paperwork. It's possible that the oil tanks will be through the bond money. That will require closeout from the state.
Thank you.
So is this is for not to exceed $20,000? Is that how I'm supposed to read?
That's correct. It's not to exceed the balance of the money that was originally appropriated by the board.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. See, told you I'm late.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve school improvement personnel memorandum P22-19 dated June 21st, 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Can I ask a question, not necessarily about this one particular item, but when we look at the goals for these items, one of the goals is the ensuring of the successful implementation of the 2020 educational vision, which includes district reconfiguration to pre-K through 8 model and et cetera, et cetera. Can we update those? Perhaps.
Can we do what?
Update them?
Oh,
I
sure,
feel
we
like the
can.
goals probably don't align with our
We can take a look
looking
at
forward.
it. Right,
Thank you.
definitely.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve school improvement service memorandum S22-19 dated June 21st, 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve Student Services Memorandum 22 dated June 21st, 2022?
Motion. Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the use of the auditorium at Denzel Washington School of the Arts?
What number is that?
10.1.
Okay. Refresh. Yeah.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the 2021-2022 district-wide safety plan?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a question. You can ask question first.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, do the, every building leader signs off on this? Do they sign off in writing on their building safety plan?
Yes.
So we have that on file?
Right.
That they own it?
Yes.
Okay.
But I need to say, though, is that with the new team coming in,
Right.
we have to submit this because of deadline.
Right.
They're going to go back and revamp it because we saw some stuff there that needs to be fixed.
Right, but there's still going to be, like, they will sign on the dotted
Oh, yes.
line and say, I understand this, I am in charge of this,
have to
just
sign
given
off on
what
it,
we're,
that's it.
okay, thank you.
But I'm really sorry. This plan is 2021 to 2022. I'm not the brightest person in the world, but aren't we almost done with 2020, the school year?
Yes, but I think it's always 1 year behind like that for them.
Okay.
So we have to move forward with 2022 to 2023.
Okay.
Yes.
It's slightly horrifying, but sure. Okay.
Yeah, yes, when you submit stuff to the state, it's always 1 year.
Got it. Thank you.
We're on the district-wide safety plan.
I think, did we just approve that?
We're about to vote on it.
We're about to vote on it now. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
Warren, I didn't get a vote from you.
Abstain, I'm sorry, I'm abstaining.
Okay. Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second for the authorization to hire staff for the Mount Vernon Aquatic Facility for summer 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Jessica M. Graves as personnel associate?
Motion.
Wait a minute. Where's that?
11.3.
Okay.
Can I have a second? Can I have a second?
Oh, second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, these are positions that we hire.
I thought we seconded already. My bad.
Give them their contracts.
These are their contracts for next year.
Yeah. These people are already here.
They're already here.
They're, right.
Right.
Yeah, we're just renewing.
Just new contracts.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Sheila Solomon as data processing supervisor?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Marcy Tiggs as Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources?
Motion.
Second.
No. No. No, I'm just kidding. No. And you and I were thinking the same thing.
Can I ask a question? I don't believe these were not on, I haven't seen these. This is the first time I'm seeing these tonight. I reviewed the agenda this afternoon. These were not on my agenda this afternoon.
I saw them. They were on my agenda this afternoon.
They were?
There. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I must have missed them.
Did you refresh?
No, I meant this afternoon.
No,
I
they were
read
I
there.
looked this afternoon, I did not see them. I refresh now and I see them, but I didn't see them this afternoon.
I saw them this afternoon.
Yeah, they were there.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Ken Silver as Assistant Superintendent for Business?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Dr. Kim Smith as Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Personnel Services?
That's absolutely not.
Motion. I motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to authorize an employment agreement with Lisa Thorpe Fraley as personnel associate?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the June 7th, 2022 Board of Education meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to adopt the 2022-23 Board of Education meeting calendar?
Motion.
Motion.
Did you change the date or no? Change the date?
Yes, it's 19.
Oh, I didn't see.
Any questions, comments, or concerns?
28.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Before we go to exec, I have a question.
I thought that.
You turned it off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I thought that, oh God, Jesus Christ. Okay. Trustee Mitchell proposed a resolution for, there was an email, Trustee Mitchell proposing a resolution.
Suggestion. What it was, all right, so just so that we can.
So let's get
So
to,
that we can speak on it.
can
Hold on.
I just say something?
Hold on,
right
I'm just gonna reply to Candace just to add clarity. It was a suggestion
Okay.
regarding the 2 empty vacant seats. I suggested that because transparency is something that we've been working towards. I know that I've been working toward transparency for the last 3 years. Transparency in how the board plans to address the 2 vacant seats, the timing that they plan to move on it, and the fashion that they plan to do it. I made the suggestion on email to the board and Dr. BC and CC. There was no response to that email as to whether it was a yes or no. So, and board leadership has not responded at all on it that I know of. I don't think you did, right? You didn't see that email probably. But there was no movement on it, so at this point, this is where we stand. This is we already know this is my last meeting, so.
Sorry.
But I still have till the end of the month, so whatever happens between then and now, we'll let the public will know.
So typically, within the last few years, Darcy and Melissa were both appointed, and the other board members interviewed them. We have 2 new board members that'll be coming on July 1st, and they need the opportunity to interview whomever we want to put on the board going forward. So I would like to leave that up to the present board and the new board members coming through.
So who determines gets selected for those interviews?
Anyone can throw their hat in the ring, I believe.
We all interview. We usually interview the people that come for us, and we make a decision unanimously. Okay, so it can't be just.
I'm only asking because I've not been here.
But is there policy? Is there written policy that states that that's how we fill these positions?
So I'll just say this. I'll share what the state told me.
It's a practice.
We're a small school district. How the seats are filled or how it's handled is at the discretion of the board.
Right.
And this is how we've been doing it. I mean, like
So
I said, Darcy and Melissa came on. Everybody had the opportunity to speak to them prior to them coming on if they didn't want to.
That's fine.
No, I just need a clarification because since this is my first year and I have never encountered this, I also have been trying to educate myself with this and other things. So, because it was to my understanding that we don't have a policy, and I think we should, actually, having a policy will restrain us. So I don't know if that would be a good idea to write a policy on how we fill out positions. But I know that since we don't have a policy, we have several options on how to fill it. And as a board, we need to vote on how this needs to happen. That's my understanding from reading this and from speaking to the legal department on NISBA, and having one person decide how we're going to do it, it is not an entire board.
Nobody said it was one person.
Well, have we voted on how we're going to do it?
Do we need to vote on it? Do we need to, you mean?
We need to come up with an agreement on how we are going.
We don't need to do that.
So show me where it's written that says that we don't need to do that.
Darcy, was it written when we appointed you? Was it written when we appointed you, Melissa? It wasn't written.
No, it wasn't written. However, like I said,
everybody met them. Everybody, spoke to them, and
I'm sorry. I
don't
respectfully,
understand.
I didn't have any knowledge of the bylaws when I was appointed, so I don't know what the decisions were.
So no, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like, what is protocol then? So what is, and I'm just asking, please, before anybody jumps my throat and try to break it into, I am just asking, because if we don't have a policy written, that means that we have to follow what is suggested by NISBA, right? So now,
I don't think we do,
okay,
because it's suggested.
It is a suggestion, exactly. So now, as a board, as a body, it would only be fair to make a decision as a body on how we're going to follow with this. That's all I'm asking. Okay, fine, we have followed certain practices in the past. We have people that came here and asked for their votes to be heard, asked for their votes to be acknowledged. So for me, it would be extremely disrespectful to have people that came and asked us to do something for us to ignore them. That's all I'm saying. And honest to God, I know that we need to fill these positions. And I know that we will find people that will, we were going to all interview, and we were all going, whatever we're going to do, it was going to happen according to, the best interest of the public. But the reality is, I feel very uncomfortable to just say, just because everybody wears white in a wedding, we should be all wearing white. I feel very uncomfortable with that. Just because it's tradition to wear white, everybody has to wear white in a wedding. This is just me. We have people asking for something. These are our constituents. These are the people that voted for us.
And I think there's some value in us at some point writing a policy on how it's done in the future. That's about it.
all I'm saying is we're at the last meeting of the year, and we have 2 new board members that's going to come on in a couple of weeks. I think they have the opportunity. They should have the opportunity to vote on who they want to work with in the future. So I don't see the problem with that. I mean, if it was January, that may be a different story. But we're 2 weeks away.
But Madam President, you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm not negating the fact that we have 2 new board members, and I'm not negating the fact to acknowledge the importance of their presence.
So what are you saying?
I'm not negating the fact. What I'm saying is for us to keep on doing what has traditionally been done when we have certain members of the community.
So what do you suggest? Are you suggesting we make a policy right now? Are you suggesting we make a policy right now? We're not going to.
And that's not what I'm suggesting, Madam President.
Tell me what you're suggesting.
I'm suggesting that we need to sit down and talk about how we're going to do it. And when we talk about how we're going to do it, it needs the people need to be acknowledged, and the people need to be heard, and the people need to be involved in how we're going to do this.
The people spoke on May 17th.
Okay. So if we're going to follow with the statement that you're saying right now, the people spoke on May 17th.
It's up to the board's discretion to appoint.
But you're contradicting yourself right now by saying the people spoke on May 17th. If that's the case, then by July 1st, since the people spoke on May 17th, the next runner-ups should be the ones filling the seat. If we're going to follow, I'm saying what you said, the people spoke on May 17th. And if the people spoke on May 17th, that means that we have 2 positions that are empty. And these 2 positions and this is just my opinion. I want to make sure this is not the opinion of the board. It would be advantageous
to have two people that have knowledge of the board to keep on serving on the board, because we have a brand new administration that needs extreme support. So if you want to acknowledge what you just said, that means that if the people spoke, the people voted on May 17th, that means that the two positions need to be filled with the follow-ups, with the runner-ups.
The positions will be filled when the new trustees come on board. Okay, if the new
why are you making that decision?
If the new trustees that come
But why are you making that decision on your own?
What do you mean I'm making it on my own?
Yes, because have we voted on that?
On what?
On what you just said, that the decision will be made when the brand new trustees come on the board.
Okay, so you want to take a vote on it?
It's not that we're going to.
I mean, you know, Melissa and Darcy didn't even run and we appointed them.
But this is in the past. This is in the past. We're talking about what's moving forward, moving to the future.
I think we don't need to belabor this right now, Ms. Trustee.
Okay, so.
I would like to acknowledge Melissa and Warren. Okay, so before we go into exec, is that okay?
Yes, sure.
She hasn't finished.
Did you finish?
No.
Yeah.
You finished.
We're not ready to accept the results, so.
We're not ready. Yeah.
This is a nice interlude.
Right, right, so.
All right. I apologize for stopping you, but we can sit here all night and argue that point.
No.
So-
No, please, let's
I
keep
would-
on moving.
I would like to
Let's move
acknowledge.
forward.
I would like to acknowledge John Hayden, Melissa, and Trustee Mitchell for everything they've done.
Yes, I was going to just squeeze in something. I just want to let you know there's a big banner out on 4th Avenue that says Mount Vernon Reads. It's because we're having our summer project wherein that the books that the kids get, they will be going to different areas in the community like Dole Center and the library to read these books. So if you see that banner up there, I want to say thanks to DBW, yes, for hanging it up for us. But in case you see it, it's our banner and we are ready for a literacy summer.
Go up to the podium. That's what we usually do. And where did Jeff Red just go?
I don't know.
Right.
Just stepped out.
I can't see. You guys have to say something.
I didn't know that.
If you see something, say something.
Yeah, that's what I say to my kids all the time.
Take off my pen silver shirt.
Yes, that's fine.
You want to put on my gown?
No, take off the other. Probably not a good look. When you go to graduation. For us. All right.
Yes, like that. Hold on a minute. No.
You were so nervous when you came on, and you didn't speak much. Amazing what 3 or 4 years does. So I want to thank you, Melissa, for your time. Speak.
What am I doing?
Trustee Mitchell, you were never lost for words.
No.
So I want to thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so 3 years ago, somebody tapped me and asked me if I wanted to be a school board trustee, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what a school board was. I didn't know. All I knew was that this was the Board of Education, and this is where education begins. I knew nothing like what I know now. So what I can say is, over the past 3 years, what has really happened is learning a lot. A lot of what those people who sit in these seats do and how important what they have to say is. So what I also learned was those of us who are on the outside, sitting on the other side, I call this the fishbowl. Those of us that sit on this side of the room and watch from home, hold every last person that sits in these seats accountable. When I step down, whoever steps in those seats, they're going to learn, hopefully, a lot. And hopefully they're going to think for themselves and not going to go according to what other people tell them and go by hearsay and chit-chat. I hope that everybody that takes those seats realizes It's not just a stepping stone to something bigger. It's our babies. You're making decisions for our staff, our food service workers, safety, security, all of these things that are of paramount importance. Okay, so during the time that I've been on, yeah, I've devoted myself to buildings and grounds and, you know, stuff like that, and I'm going to continue to do everything I can, even from the outside. But don't allow anybody to sit in any one of those seats. Now, we heard from Dr. Hamilton earlier, and, you know, he put in his time, and he did not leave this district in a worse place than he found it. I'll never co-sign on that. And we got new leadership in place, and Dr. BC, I have every faith that she's going to walk us straight into the future, into brighter things that glisten and beautiful. But if you're not sitting on those seats because you are here for these children and these babies in this district, then you have no reason to be on them seats. You have no reason to run. You have no reason to come out and do anything or sit in any of those seats and speak unless you are here to work for our children, for their education, the grounds and buildings that they dwell in, our staff works in, our teachers and educators work in, our building leads work in. If you're not here to see promotion from within for we had retirees that came over here today. They sat in this district. They did their thing for over 25 and 30 years and more. You should be looking at every teacher that walks in this district as if somebody who can possibly lead a building one day. Promote from within. The muscle is here. Mount Vernon is mighty and always will be. Hold every board member in those seats accountable, because they're the only people who make the decisions. And if you don't, they'll go home every single meeting having said and done nothing and act like it's all gravy, and it's not. It's not. Thank you. And I appreciate every last person who put in that time, comes to the meetings, listens to me, hears me rant like President Saunders is saying, because I'm long-winded here. I appreciate every last one of you, everybody that supported me during my time and everybody that supported me before I came in here. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Before I start, I just want to say that I was coerced into doing this. I already spoke earlier. I definitely spoke earlier about the people on this board. So right now I'm going to take the time to talk about the students, you know. Mount Vernon gets a bad rep sometimes. People say that we're a troublesome town, that things aren't the best, but being in the hallways after school, meeting students from all different grade levels, you know, meeting students that are K to 8 and then the high schoolers, I just want to say that it's inspiring. Because we all face challenges, but the challenges that these kids face, they still come to school every single day. The challenges that these kids face at home, they still come to school every day and they put in their best work, you know, they do the best that they can do. Mount Vernon gets criticized because we may have 1 or 2 or 3 bad situations, but all the good situations never have light shined on them properly. So being in this seat as student trustee, it gave me the opportunity to see those shining lights, those burning lights in our district that are doing amazing things, and they don't get enough credit. And for those that could be burning lights but just weren't getting the spark or that help that they needed to get there. So to whoever comes in next to my position, I just want to say it's not always going to be easy, but try to be that spark for a couple young children. Try to be that spark that they can become flames too. Thank you.
Well said, John.
You should tell where he's going.
So for the record, I still don't like speaking. It makes me very nervous, so I actually took notes because I know that there's been a lot of conversation about why I'm not taking the seat, and I thought it was important to address the issue. And so for the past almost 4 years, I've had the honor of serving the Mount Vernon community as a trustee for the Mount Vernon City School District. However, I'm not taking the one-year seat. Since the evening of May 17th, which was election night, the board and the district have become more fractured and chaotic. In the best interest to be productive, I don't believe it can go on this way. The worst thing that could happen is that board or board public dynamics distract from needed progress being made. I won't be another voice in the chaos. Therefore, Therefore, I feel it's in the best interest of the district that I step down at the end of my current term. I thank everyone who really supported me.
Sign up to speak by 4.
Oh, by 3. I'm not playing, because I understand.
That was
That's very good.
great job. Now what are we doing?
So where are we now? We're going to exec?
Take a break? Do we go into?
Going to go into
Just
executive?
before, I would like to say, John, you didn't say that he's on his way to Howard University for the September school year. Congratulations.
I would just like to say something. I would like to personally thank John for serving. I think he was just absolutely excellent and set a great example for students coming after him. I also want to say a special thank you to Warren and Melissa, who, I mean, I've been on the board, this is my 7th year on the board, and they are two of the hardest working trustees I've seen on the board. And I want to acknowledge their hard work, their enthusiasm, and their constant pushing, because you do have to keep pushing, and we all have to push each other to be better as a team. So I just want to say thank you very much, and I've really enjoyed and been enriched by working with both of you.
I do want to say a few words. John Aiden, you are amazing, and I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. You are an inspiration, and I hope that your fellow, classmates that are the new 12th graders and 11th graders, so you were able to interact and to guide, see you as an inspiration, and see you as, a role model. And in regards to Warren, Michelle, it's like we started in a rocky start. I was waiting for that one. Mr. Warren Mitchell. We started in a rocky start, but then one thing that you taught me was to take a breather, sit down and talk. You taught it. And you did. We didn't agree in a lot of things, but that is the beauty of being able to accept each other, and with acceptance comes communication, and comes friendship. And you have become a friend, and I am forever grateful, because I do believe that everybody comes to your life and is to teach you something. It could be something negative or something positive. And honest to God, you are a positive person in my life. In regard to Miss Melissa Munoz Patterson.
So her name you say right.
Yep. And I say Munoz. Girl, what can I say? I do have to agree with what was said between the both of you. You guys are the two hardest working board members, and I don't know if we could ever fill your shoes, because you guys
just dedicated hours and hours, especially you, Melissa, upon hours, having 2 kids, having a full-time job, being a wife, a mom. You were like a freight train. And I saw that, and I, honest to God, was like, listen, she's like Mighty Mouse. And
Even height jokes now.
and it's like, you still my Mighty Mouse. And thank you, because you were another one that would smack me upside the head and sending me texts like, relax, calm down, take it easy, do this, do that. You know, so thank you very much, because once again, you are a positive influence in my life. And I don't know what else to say other than the fight is not over, and we don't have to be board members to keep on fighting for our kids.
So does anyone else have anything to say? Because we're ready to pull the screen down for the votes.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm not a trustee, but I want to say something. Because I just want to let both of the trustees. Okay, sorry about that. Because they heard what I said, that's why it makes sense I put the mic on. But I'm going to repeat it for everybody to hear that. But I have grown to know both of you, very well. And you'll be sadly missed from the team. And I want to let you know that you might be done with the board, but Mount Vernon City School District is not done with you guys yet. Okay? So I always say that when we were coming in, that I want a working board. And even though you're not on the board, you're still going to be working because you are past members of the board. But I want to say that I thank you so much for all what you have done, what you have contributed, the courageous conversations we have had. And I know you're going to come back on the other side, as you said, Warren, Trustee Mitchell, you're going to come back on the other side. But I just don't want to have those courageous conversations with you on the other side, because I know it's going to be,
Well said.
It's not going to have any filter. But anyway, we welcome them. And I will always call you, both of you, wherever you are, for your help, because the kids still need you no matter what. And John Aiden, you are just like a dream come true. When I met you a long time ago when you were a little kid running around. I do. And now I see you on the board, and you are all highly spirited, coming up with conversations. You know what you want for yourself, what you want for the kids. I hope when you go to Howard, you continue that kind of conversation and to do well. And whatever you learn here, you take it into Howard as well. And I wish you all the best. Okay? Thank you.
So are we going into exec? We're going to pull the screen down? We're going to pull the screen down? The final votes? Yes, after 9:30, yeah. So are we going to go into exec?
We have business after exec, too.
Yeah, we do. We have, yeah. So we're going to go into exec right now?
Well, we're just going to recess right now, and you come to exec.
Yeah, but we're going to go into executive session, okay?
Oh, okay.
So can we make a motion to go into executive session?
Are they ready?
Is the vote ready?
We're ready for the vote, yes.
Oh, okay.
So we can get that.
Oh, so then we don't have to come back after exec? Yes, we do. We have one thing.
We still do.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
So let's go to exec and then come back.
Yeah, but then all the other people don't have to be here. Yeah. We can get the election done.
Yes.
You're right. You are 100% right.
No, but I think we have to, for that vote, we have to have some people here.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we get the vote, if we do the vote before we go to exec, then the people who are here for the vote can leave.
Oh, right.
And then that
makes sense.
Bye. Bye, Mr. Wizard.
Oh, I have to go over there? I can stay here.
get a motion to reconvene?
What do you?
We didn't even motion to leave.
No. We didn't?
No.
Where's Alice? Where's Alice? We need Alice. Oh, there's Alice. Okay. Alice and
Are you back in session?
yes.
Okay, so Alice Patterson, the election official, will certify the vote.
Hello. I'm here to certify the vote for the budget revote. There's only 107 absentee ballots, would not affect the outcome of the vote. So the budget vote passed. Thank you.
You want to tell us the numbers we have right now?
I didn't hear you.
Tell us the numbers we have right now.
Oh, they took the screen down. I didn't get a chance to write it down. Zenaida has the exact number, and plus, once he opens up our computer, I'll have the exact number again. Can you find Zenaida to get the exact number again?
I guess in the meantime.
Oh, 583 yeses, 315 noes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alice.
So we're going to go back into exec, aren't we?
Alice is retiring? Well, let's accept the result on the list.
So we need
Everyone a letter from Alice.
yeah, in your books, yeah.
I didn't get my Taylor,
August
need a
15th.
motion to accept this?
All right, so we had a motion on the floor?
Motion and a second to accept the results of the 2022 budget revote.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
So we're going to go back into executive session for the purposes of?
Discussing the employment history of a particular person or persons.
Okay, and we'll come back out and vote?
A motion.
Yeah, and we'll come back out and vote. How long do you think?
Do we have to reconvene?
Yeah.
Yes, we have to vote on it. I'm going to say, can I say 30 minutes? I can say.
We can say anything. 15 so that they don't go to 30.
We could say
30 minutes? 30 minutes, okay. All right.
Well, what's the motion and the second?
I motion and the second. I motion and.
And we're all in favor? And we're all in favor?
Aye.
We have to come back into.
Can I please have a motion and a second to return to public session?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I please have a motion and a second to adopt the hearing officer's findings of fact and recommendation?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Warren, take it, Warren.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.